You gotta pay to touch this, but I almost did. I was drunk as fuck, but my boys came in and said, "Nah, boy, let me explain. Hoes on the brain, she's on the dick. I'm coming quick, and I can't even refrain. Let me explain."
What up? What up? Nap and Nap coming in with an oldie. What a goodie.
I'm coming quick, and I can't even refrain.
I was going to trade Saquon, but then my morals kicked in.
Said, nah, boy.
Nah, boy. Oh, man. What's good? What's good, bro?
Good, man. We are at a week 5 matchup. Is the recording. This is a Tuesday. We're going to try to turn around and get this out by tomorrow morning, actually. That way we can marinate it on for the week, for the Thursday night game, and for the weekends. I think we're picking this back up. And we might dip our toe back into streaming. It's kind of nice being able to kind of, if we need to press pause on it to do something or do a little post-production. But the more that we do these shows, I think the more that we're kind of getting in the groove. But anyway, I digress. So let's get into it. How was your week 4 matchups? Where are you sitting at? How are you feeling it with your team?
I'm 0-4, bro. I'm the only one 0-4 in the balls deep right now. So I'm not looking good personally, man. I don't know how you sitting over there, but I already traded my first and second round picks about a couple hours before tonight's show. My first and second rounder, that is. I had to traded my third rounder too, but I didn't have one this year, so I guess that's the first lesson right there. Don't trade away future draft picks, because I'm really feeling it right now, or at least I thought I could overcome. But yeah, man. Still hope though. One last little glimmer.
Yeah, we can get more into that, but we can just get right into the topics of the day here. And I think we'll come back to your season and how you're feeling at the Balls Deep League.
We'll end it. Yeah, we'll end it with that. But everybody else want to know. Week 4, right? Quarter of the season down. Where is your team? If you're undefeated, you're sitting good, but you're always wanting to improve anyway, right? This is very much a sport that is fantasy, right? A paper sport, right? Like the teams are on paper. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to get that ledger looking better and better every week. So even if you're 4-0, I'd say, are there players you can move? Potentially sell high that may not continue sustaining that production you're getting or that you got first 4 weeks. And then vice versa. Are there some guys out there that, we say it every week, right? But not hitting their pars, right? Not hitting what they're supposed to, that you think they're going to turn it around. Maybe you can buy them on a low cheap right now. So that's this first part right here. We'll get into it, bro. I want to look at how we did last week. What did I have here on I had a Zach Moss. I want to say I hit on him. I did say to trade for him or to sell high, actually, and it looks like JT is coming back. Beans, you familiar with how the IR works, NFL? It's kind of weird now, right? Like, used to be out the whole season.
Yeah, they've made a lot of changes recently, so I can't say that I'm too caught up on
it. So IR used to be like, hey, done, pack it up all year, right? But now they let you come back, right? And then they have a 21-day window. So basically, Johnathan Taylor was out 4 weeks. They reinstated him, or I believe they're going to. So once you get reinstated or pulled from the IR tag, there's a 21-day window that opens up. So the Colts get an additional 3 weeks to decide, okay, are we going to really activate this guy, or do we send his ass back to IR? And then I believe he'll be out for whatever the rest of the year, right? So it's kind of cool they get to, feel it out, see what's going to go. So I don't know what the whole purpose is, but what I'm saying here is I believe Zach Moss is done. It is time to trade him. The clock's ticking. You're going to get 2 or 3 more weeks out of him. I'm not really there to get stressed about Anthony Richardson vulturing his touchdown, so I'm going to go ahead and try and pawn him off. Another guy's Jaden Waddle, just continues to disappoint for the Miami Dolphins, right? We saw that offensive explosion last week. You have Ashawn, you know what I'm saying? But back to the receivers, even Tyreek Hill just going to have a couple of weeks where Tua's not going to be able to process fast enough and just chunk a ball in the middle of the ocean for Tyreek Hill to get, you know what I'm saying? So that's another guy. I'd say sell high because Jalen Waddle, you still kind of had that brand name to go. But yeah, man. What you thinking?
Did you want to touch on Ashawn there? Are we saying that name right? Are we?
Yeah. So now I believe he already came out the Miami PR, like their media publication, they were calling him A Chain, like 2 chains, I
A
believe.
chain.
We were calling him A Sean, but it's actually A Chan. A Chan. Sounds weird too. Devon A Chan. That Chan, A Chan, baby. They want that like Jackie Chan. That's how they spelt it out, CHAN. So I'm thinking it's A Chan.
Okay, well, I felt better seeing some kind
Anyway.
of press release about like pronouncing his name.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so we're not the only ones here, but like I just wanted to pull up his numbers here. Like, so you had said last week he could have been someone to sell high, and I might have done that if I wanted a position other than running back. But prior to him kind of having really two good back-to-back games here, the crazy game in Denver where he got 56, and then Buffalo he got 32 points here in our PPR league. So yeah, I mean, hopefully continues the trajectory there, because I desperately need it with Austin Eckler just down for 2 games, so came out swinging first game, and then
I'll tell you right now, Beans, this guy's a league winner, bro. Like as long as you handle the rest of your roster and stuff, this guy should be a league winner. If Eckler comes back to full form, then you got 2 RB1s. Right there, 2 stable. That's 2 pretty ponies to be sitting on, bro. So basically, what I'm getting at is this was a miss on me. Last week I said to sell this guy high. Seeing another performance like this, I mean, I'm here to say that he's here to stay. You feel me? So barring any injury.
Well, I think last time your main thing was just like
see what you can get out of him. You know what I mean?
No, not just that, but like the running back room is going to get crowded. Who are we expecting back there from injury?
But I believe he's special now, Jeff Wilson. I was expecting Jeff Wilson to come back, but look at the decline on Mostert as well. There's a reason Mostert's 31 years old. There's a reason he's bounced from the Niners back to here. Yeah, you know what I mean? There's a reason he was never really the RB1. There was a reason last year why the Niners had to go get Christian McCaffrey, right? So what I'm saying is Mostert ain't gonna be that type that's here to stay. But Achon, how he looking, dog?
I mean, and I think Mike McDaniel there, he's not dumb. Like he's gonna ride the hot hand if a player is doing well. I don't think it's gonna be like this incumbent or we paid this guy this much money, so we're gonna force him in there. If he's more about clearly team performance. So we have
and I'll say my bad. I wanted to name another hit that I had to try to give me some credit. I think I hit on if you bought Jameson Williams low, which you should have if he was not already on the waiver wire. But this was a cat that was going to be suspended 6 games for the Detroit Lions, wide receiver, potent offense, gambling. Right. Long story short, new NFL gambling policy went into effect last week. All existing suspensions got cut by then and there. So time served for a lot of these guys, Jameson Williams being one of them. So, I mean, going in this type of a Lions offense that's super, super nasty at home, including how Jared Goff plays, if you bought him low, I think you're going to be on the right track there. So I'm going to call that a hit for now, seeing as how that suspension got lifted. He was supposed to be, missing 2 more games, but practicing and we'll see.
In honor of our new time clock here, let's respect the clock. We have a little under 2 minutes. Let's going forward. So that was a lot. We spent majority talking about like the retroactive.
Just recapping, huh?
Yeah. So who do you got going in to looking forward?
90 seconds, huh? You give me 90 seconds, and I tell my wife I only need 30, baby girl. I only need 30, and I'll be done. I say, hey, Cole Kmet. Let's talk about tight ends. Cole Kmet, Chicago. Consistency is the key right now, man. But what I want to say is it's not even about him. Every league has those owners that love that tight end, got that infatuation with that position, that wanting to set it and forget it, not wanting to stress about it. Even if it even appeals to those that want to stream. Justin Fields finally had his day. I think Cole Kmet's going to perform whether or not it's Justin Fields or someone else, vice versa. Find that if you have Cole Kmet, he just scored hot. Find that owner that loves tight ends. See if you can push them off, right? We just talked about Jalen Waddle. It might be tough to sell high on him now, but see what you can get. Maybe just sell. Forget about the high part. Just try and sell him. See if you can get some sort of equivalent in a positional ranking or performance. Miami's defense their strength of schedule, I think pretty tough. I think 5th toughest schedule right now, and they got to play away from their home stadium against like KC, Baltimore, Philly. 20 seconds. Shit, let's go buy low, huh? I had easy ones. Buy low. Chris Olave just had a 1 point sticker on the Saints. Maybe he's got that owner that's impatient. Probably dropped a second rounder on him. See if you can sweet talk him. Buy him low. The other guy, Brian Robinson, Washington Commanders, rookie last year. I think that Commanders offense a lot of people are sleeping on, and Sam Howell's driving it just fine. Touch on some other players they got later.
What's their record over there? I think they've done really well. They came close to beating.
They just lost exactly. Yeah, lost that overtime one. Ron Rivera is on the hot seat. I don't think he's that great of a coach. That's the interesting
thing. Yeah, I mean the team's doing kind of.
They're working out. New change of ownership, and like I said, it was probably a throwaway year anyway in the terms of the perspective of the owner. But Rivera's that player's coach type. We'll see what he can get out of him.
All right, well let's move on. Man, I really got to fix this.
That's cool. But we on the what? Our deep sleeper. Balls deep. Like these names were like you're probably like raising an eyebrow like The Rock here. Like what's this boy talking about, man?
Well, I thought your last pick last week name's eluding me. I don't have it in front of me. The Cowboys running back. I think you even had.
Rico, man. I think he
did okay.
Long story short, he didn't. Yeah, long story short, it didn't work out. He was getting to get the opportunities as the RB2, but ended up with a hip contusion. So, I'm gonna say that's a miss. You know what I mean? I also had Roschon Johnson there, that Chicago Bears rookie. A lot of hype out of camp. Khalil Herbert just blew it out of the water. In our league, he scored like 27 points or so. So that's at least 20 in a PPR. You know what I'm saying? That's just going to be one of those, I guess, hot hand type deals, right? Because I don't think Khalil Herbert's better than Roschon Johnson. And Roschon Johnson's got the upper hand as far as, what is that, zone pickup blitzes, the blocking aspect. So, yeah, I don't know. Herbert just had the hot week, I suppose. And last year, speaking about Herbert, he was hot in the receiving game too. So if the Bears going to be behind, I mean, there we go. Check down King, dump off Justin Fields. We'll see what happens. Tank. I was trying to get Tank from you this week, man. It looks like it looks like he chilled this week, and Nico kind of stepped up. So I want to say that was another hit. It was kind of easy on our part last week. We just said, hey, any of the Texas receivers should hit. We were even throwing Robert Woods' name in there. Obviously, that didn't pan out. But, yeah, man, as far as what was I going with? I had some misses, some hits. I wanted to list one other guy. Talk about your pop, man. Bob. I can't say much because he's 3-1, I think. So I know he's balling.
Let's see what's going on.
But he had one of my boys that I thought was a hit. I said go ahead scoop up Jake Ferguson if you have not already, and but he had him on the bench, man, for that brand name George Kittle, man. George Kittle ended up getting him 2 points, I think, and Ferguson had double digits out there. And like I said, I'm only talking about other people's team because my team 0-4. But yeah,
that's right. Bob's 3-1, put up 191 points last week.
Yeah, man. I mean, 13 targets in 3 weeks for Dallas. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to argue with that. At least 7 targets in 3 of the last 4 games. I mean, nothing else to really argue there. You know what I'm saying?
So the thing is about any of these sleeper picks in general, it's like, so we're going into week 5, and now you're starting to see some trends in players and teams in general, as well as injuries. So with all that said, is there anyone who maybe was not on your radar before that is now, or vice versa? We could talk about. I mean, I guess like.
And I love the way you put that. Yeah, and I love the way you put that. As far as, I mean, you're saying trends going into week 5, we're gonna see some repeats. I mean, to mansplain that, you basically say we're gonna see some names that fall out of it, and then some names that fall back in it. Some names that might graduate from like the weekly deep sleeper to like, okay, now you got to keep this guy, to okay, now you should probably sell him, or the other way around. So to answer your question, going back to your pop, Rashee Rice. Bob picked him up. I love this pick. Just the fact that like this kid is due for a breakout game. Electric when he was touching the ball. Insane like game film tape, right? But the important thing though, all that shit is nice and dandy, but the important thing is that like no true wide receivers. I mean running backs either, but no true wide receiver alpha dog for the Chiefs. So like give this cat an opportunity and he should get it. You know what I mean? Sky Moore failed last week. Deuce Vaughn, I mean, this is a guy we probably had on the list week 1 or 2. Oh, yeah, back to Rashee Rice. Yeah, so how's he doing right? He's barely creeping, right? 4 or 5 points or so?
Yeah, I mean, so it's like 11-4, 10-6, so nothing crazy. But again, depth is a good thing to have, and when you're in deep leagues. And
could you click on his team? Let's see where he is on the depth chart. I love this, Beans.
Let's see.
Oh no, you had it.
Yeah, he's the second. He's listed. It's the second wide receiver 2. The person ahead of him is Kadarius Toney, who's like doing just terribly. So the competition there is, I can see him maybe even getting more playing time just because I have not watched closely about what's going on with Kadarius Toney in general, but fantasy performance has been doo-doo. So.
Hey, if you could hit up Wandale Robinson for me. And before I go to Wandale Robinson is the last name, Giants receiver. I'll say real quick, Deuce Vaughn or Tanks Bigsby, the rookie out of Jacksonville. Those are good insurance policies, brother. I mean, those are at least 20 to 22 carries that will be vacated every week should those players in front of them get hurt. Deuce Vaughn obviously being the backup for the Cowboys, Tony Pollard, and Tank Bigsby for Travis Etienne. Now back to Wandale Robinson. This is a cat, been hurt a couple weeks, so obviously not on people's radar. Season debut last week. I'm yelling because I'm horny right now. This cat did all right last year, and I love these small boys, these 5'8" motherfuckers. Kentucky. You know what I mean? Not a football powerhouse, but so basically he's a speedy return guy. You and I, we got them boys from Jerome Mathis, Jacoby Jones. Texans used to like them kind of receivers, This is what I think of kind of one of those type deals. Although the school is not as small, but I think he's trending in the right way, and I'm going to use the same copy and paste from the Rashee Rice explanation. No alpha dog for this Giants team. And if you go to his game log, you don't have to, but if you do from last year, 2022, and see how he balled out, he kind of surprised people that way as well. A yak type of kid, right? A yak type of guy. But then it looks like he ended up, tore his shit up, and that's how he, missed the rest of the season and then a little bit of this year.
But when he was in, he performed better. I mean, he performed pretty well when he was in. They had a few fluke games around 3 points, but otherwise
he was finishing wide receiver, just finishing don't say it there, but that's good. That's what's up
for last year. But he's 12, 13, 20. Yeah, it's pretty solid production. That's a good find.
Last cat I'll say is Jonnu Smith, man. Jonnu Smith should be available. Why? Cat's got 14 targets in the last 2 games, right? It's all about opportunity. That's what you're chasing. We don't want to really chase the points. These motherfuckers like Calvin Austin, 2 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown last week, and they ain't give you shit this week. This is Jonnu Smith cat we talked about, 2-3 years ago when he was on the Patriots. Well, now he's second tight end to Kyle Pitts. But we all know with Pitts, or at least how balls deep we feel about Pitts. I mean, he ain't nothing. He was just a genetic, good-looking freak, Dr. Manhattan type shit. Motherfucker look good naked, but that's about it. Can't play ball. I ain't going that far. But anyways, Jonnu Smith, 11 catches, 130 yards, I believe. He is the third option, which is good in any offense, even if it's Atlanta. But he's the third option, I think, behind Bijan Robinson, and then maybe Drake London. I don't know. Drake London. But. Some steals right there, man. I think.
Right on. I like it. So with that, we want to go into the week 6 stash. We can't really confirm yet your week 5 stash. So this week we'll kind of see which of the week 5 stash players you recommended have performed decently. So that'd be a fun thing to track. But it's we're always, what is it? I guess there are 2 games to really see where the proof is. Yeah, grabbing them early, but then you have to see where they perform.
I like that. Yeah. Exactly. At a minimum 2, and it's super flexible. Could be a few weeks down the line. It depends on your, I guess, roster build, and I mean what you're willing to cut loose and what you're willing to keep. Right. I'm just hoping if some of these names you're debating between, if you hear it again here, hopefully that means you're more compelled to keep them. Right. I mean, what did who did we talk about already? I don't want to repeat it. It looks like we talked about everyone. I did mention a Melvin Gordon, which you called me out on right away. They reverting him back to the practice squad, and then they activate him game day, and then back forth. I guess you can do that with a veteran.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how you can do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's the eligibility for practice squad I know changed in the past few years. So basically, I think practice squad was only designated for certain players but I think now it's friendlier to even how they can almost use that as an extra way to stash players and flex players within the roster. It's not so like once they're, I think before it was like once they're up, they can't really go back to practice squad. And now, and I think there's even more players that can go to practice squad. And this is a far-fetched one, but I think
and
there was
QB
also
too, right? Like they added a QB, an extra QB or something.
I think there was also a part of like tenure part where like, practice squad was not available to like veteran players who had to like, or if when you already more so like
they needed a rush spot.
Yeah, like once you've played so many games and seasons like on the official roster, like you can't just go back to practice squad. Anyway, no.
So, I feel you. Well, I say
I don't know.
Let me see here. I didn't necessarily hit on some guys, but like you said, we need a couple weeks. But as far as this week into it, Melvin Gordon still hit about 6-7 points. Calvin Austin still hit about 6-7 points. Same with the Donald cat, the Chargers tight end. So for now we looking all right. You know what I mean? I will say 2 weeks ago I was talking about this Denver Broncos running back rookie Jaleel. Ended up getting some touches this week with Javonte and I believe Samji. Both of them left the game early for the Broncos. But anyways, this rookie comes in. I mean, he's right back in that candidate of like, you should go and stash him, man. He's available. Just take him. The fact that he could be an RB1, it might not be the Sean Payton we wanted to see, in New Orleans. It might be the King of Queens, Sean Payton. You know what I mean? That's out there. But RB1 still sounds good. So you never know. Jaleel, that's one I say we hit on 2 weeks ago. But, time's still going to tell, time will tell, right? I had a little formula here, like your stash. I broke it down like, okay, well, a third of it's got to be how they performed the previous week. And then a third of it's got to be where they are right now in the depth chart. And obviously that opportunity that can come, or some people might call it the ceiling. And then I think, the last third of it, this is kind of the unicorn of it. It's their end of season schedule or their playoff schedule, you know what I mean? Weeks.
And
11,
and I think
12,
I was going to say before, like now the cool thing about where we are in the season is you've played enough games where you can kind of see how players are trending, not just players but teams. So you can kind of look at it. I think we were.
Are they hitting their marks? Are they better than what they are?
Well, you can. I
worse?
guess you can forecast better. Like you can see, like okay, well, we thought like Washington was going to like suck balls, but all of a sudden like they're pretty competitive. So that's a
they're
team
holding their own.
So now I kind of
H-Town.
Yeah, and like now Houston is like looking pretty good, even with the injuries they've had at O-line, and I think they just had another one. And but they have some pretty winnable games and teams that on the road here. I think the next like 4 or 5. So teams that are actually struggling a bit. So it's kind of you can use that to your benefit to kind of more so play. But whereas before, that's what I don't like when we first start fantasy. It's kind of a crapshoot because you don't know what players and teams are going to like carry over to the next season, new coaches and all this stuff. So yeah, it's like now you're starting to get excited. As the Texans fans, we're getting excited about the performance they're doing, but now we're starting to be like, oh hey, Tank Dell and Nico Collins, I can actually might reliably use these guys. Versus before it was like an off hand.
And like if we apply my formula right there, that 33% of looking at the previous week's performance, 33% looking at the depth chart right now, and the opportunity to come, and then the last 33%, the playoff schedule, the fantasy playoff schedule, or the end of season, 11, weeks 12, 13, 14 to 17. Let's apply that to what you just who'd you just mention? The Texans receivers, Nico, Tank. Well, let's look at the previous performance. I mean, they looked all right, man. They explode in there. Where they are on the depth chart right now. Nico is the one. Tank's the slot. You know what I'm saying? Then you also see CJ Stroud, like his development from week 1 to 2 to 3. It's like, man, this is getting insane. Like you don't ever see this kind of progress and growth. But who's going to benefit the most? These fucking receivers, man. Whether you know what I mean, whether Texans are up by whatever or down by 30, like these guys are going to get touches, they're going to get reps together. We get fantasy points off it, And then obviously the last 33%, which I talked about, that you got to consider the playoff schedule. Texans, I know they're playing the rest of the AFC South that don't really look as scary as we thought the Jags were going to look. Titans we knew was a hot mess, and the Colts, you know how I feel about the Colts. So we looking all right, man, as far as the Texans, as far as anyone that has shares in these wide receivers in the fantasy world.
Yeah, and before I don't want to waste this because it's not like that important. I just thought it was an interesting tidbit because we were talking about Melvin Gordon and how he's flopping between the practice squad. I was just looking at his little
What's
profile
up
here. I was supposed to profile. So it says he basically is eligible for one more like promotion to the active roster for a game, so he could still play week 5. But after that, he has to be officially signed to the active roster. So it's kind of like
they let you do it a few times, huh?
So it's like you get the dip and try. So I don't know if he's necessarily.
That's cool.
So it's kind of interesting. He kind of, to me, it's like I would be nervous about even trying to pick him up because it's very unlikely he does anything significant.
He's gonna be sticking around, yeah.
Yeah, but
if you get him for free, that's fine.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he's an interesting player to kind of like keep in your back pocket or in your mind, kind of like lady of the night you're calling in a desperate hour. He does get signed to the team and he actually ends up getting in there because it's weird how he's like getting playing time but going to practice squad and then he might get signed to the roster. But anyway,
like you said, some sort of veteran exemption might be in play too.
Rostered in 4% of the league, so like literally no one's got him. So
yeah.
Anyway,
it was a miss. Is what we saying. That was a miss. My bad.
I mean, it may be. Things change. All right. So, anything else on before we go into our own personal league news updates of how we're doing and how you're doing?
Let me make sure I didn't skip through anything, man. I'll tell you what. The last couple other stashes, bro. Cam Akers, if he's still there, go get him, bro. Matt just dropped him in our league. It's something I didn't really want to say, but I mean, fuck it. Who's watching? Cam Akers, though, dog. Like, Minnesota, 2 weeks in on the squad. It's going to take some time. Players don't perform well in midseason trades. That's a fact. But this is why this is the stash section. You know what I mean? Keep his ass, and you never know in a month. You might need his ass. And let's see how he did last year. That's what I'm interested in, Beans, because this year we know it's ugly. I thought he kind of ended last year hot, even though he was in the doghouse. But what Cam Akers is known for is 23 years of age, came back the fastest anyone's seen from an Achilles, and performed. Looked halfway decent still. So. Yeah, he
did pretty well towards the end of last season. So, with like the 13th game of the season, and he was kind of out in the beginning. He goes 19, 9, 13, 39. Is that 39? 39, 19, 20. So, yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, man, and I ended with just a couple names to throw out there. And again, these are more when I'm looking at like guys that have got the opportunity to where if the person in front of them is getting hurt, there's like X amount of carries, over 20. So 22 to 25 carries that are vacated that someone's got to pick up. Someone's going to get the chance, I'm looking at a guy like Keontae Ingram for the Cardinals. Why? James Conner, he's balling right now, or he was for a couple weeks. We knew that was going to happen, but James Conner's taking a lot of punishment over his time, his years. 6'1", 6'2". He's always, sometimes those DBs or those linebackers on the receiving end of his runs. What am I trying to say? It ain't gonna be sustained, man. He bound to get hurt again, like he always does. Go ahead and have Ingram ready. You know what I mean, Keontae, to plug in when those vacated carries, appear. You know what I'm saying? And then receiver wise, I got 2 cats. Curtis Samuel. Can't give up on Curtis Samuel, man. He was kind of a cat drafted out of the Panthers. Now on the Commanders, did all right last year. Wide receiver 3 behind Dotson and Scary Terry this year. Why am I mentioning him? I mean, he's steady just getting 7 points every week. If you're real desperate, if it's a real deep league, 12 people and plus, you need anything you can get, right? The last cat, if you can look up this guy and then we'll move on. Michael Wilson. I should have gave him to you first. I'm sorry. Michael Wilson's a name nobody knows. I didn't know. But he's wide receiver 32 right now. I think he leapfrogged Rondale Moore on the depth chart. Josh Dobbs is playing better than we think, or better than we thought. When they released Colt McCoy and brought in Josh Dobbs, we were like, damn, these Cardinals ain't even hiding that they tanking. You know what I'm saying? They just shit. Like, at least North Korea got like fake buildings, a train station, even though train don't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They got supermarkets, but no food in the supermarkets. You know what I'm saying? Like
the cardboard.
But they got the number one army. They got the number one army on the north of 59th parallel, whatever the fuck it is, But this, anyways, what I'm saying is, yeah, the Cardinals are playing, bro. They actually playing. they're not just tanking, or at least they're trying. Not what we thought it was. But this cat, Michael Wilson, you can see his role was steadily just increasing week 2 to 3 to 4. And obviously 2 touchdowns, that's an outlier. But just the targets alone.
Yeah, so targets for week 1 to week 4, it goes 4, 3, 2, 7. So pretty big jump in week 4. It's a good game against the 49ers. We got 26 points. So total yards 76. Yeah. 2 touchdowns.
We'll see. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if it's sustainable.
Right on. Good call-outs. Well, let's get into the local news of the Balls Football League of Fantasy.
Balls deep. Yeah.
All right, man. So let's start with you. How are you feeling? You are, you have the hardware to back it up. You have won the championship game many times, but you're sitting here 0-4 to start, and you're supposed to be the guru of fantasy football. So everyone's looking at you like, what's going on with Nappy Nap?
Yeah, man. I don't fucking know, man. I'll tell you what. I definitely drafted outside of my formula this year. Went outside my comfort zone. Usually snag the top tight end. I usually reach for a dual threat, preferably African American quarterback, and I did neither of those things. And combine that with a loss of a 3rd round pick that I traded for AJ Dillon the previous year. It's just bad choices, man. It's a lot of bad choices. It's like real life bleeding into the fantasy life.
I feel lucky just to be 2-2, to be honest with you, because I feel the same. The Joe Burrow pick at number 2 is just looking worse and worse every week. I really thought, and I kind of hyped myself into that pick with you on a previous show when I was like, oh, hey, look at these 4 quarterbacks. There's only 4 elites, and then everything else drops down significantly. So Burrow had been performing to like the 22s to the 30s, kind of like what you could expect routinely, like similar to Mahomes. I was like, oh, everyone talks about Mahomes, but Anyway, so Burrow not doing good. Cincinnati overall is not doing good, so my keeper's not doing that well. But other things have worked out in my favor. So I was gonna pull up this funny thing that reminded me. Yeah, Tank's done really well.
Achon, where the fuck your name is? Achon.
Yeah. Michael Pittman's doing.
Achon.
Michael Pittman's doing pretty well. And then just when the Bears and I thought DJ Moore was just down, Justin Fields and the team have like a explosive kind of week. And I think Kyle even said as soon as I drop the quarterback, he's just going to go off. And sure enough, Justin Fields had like a 40-point game.
Justin Fields goes off, yeah. And that is fantasy, right? That is fantasy. You got the Ivy brothers trying to battle for the Cleveland backfield touches, right? Matt had Kareem Hunt, and then I believe Stevie, they had Jerome Ford or somebody, yeah. But I think Ford's a little hurt now, so we'll see what happens. Steve's only dude 4-0 right now, and
I was going to say
he got in the playoffs last year, so we'll see how hot he is this year.
So, yeah, 2 back-to-back very good seasons so far from Mr. Steve Ivy, who I don't think he came into the league doing all that hot. He kind of like was performing.
That first year,
missing the playoffs. I think it was a couple years, but then, yeah, so I'm not sure what he's figured out. We should get him on the show.
Hell yeah. No, we need to start calling one of these fuckers for each show, for sure. We'll call Matt, actually, to ask how he feels to be the first person voted off the Survivor Island. I thought it was going to be me, but
that'd be good.
I had no idea 2 people scored lower than me. That was John Vu and Matt.
But that's a great point there, because like you're 0-4, but we have these mini games that you've created. And it's kind of hard to follow, but we have to do a better way of sharing that out. But it's fun because now you're still invested and you have something to play for each week.
Yeah, exactly.
So not to say the season's over, because like I said, Will was on life support last year, and he rattled all the way off, I think, deep into the playoffs. So it can happen. Lots of the league is at 1-2. You got Matt at 4-0. I think Tank is 3-1. Someone else is who else is 3-1, and then the rest of us.
I had Tank and someone else. Tank and Will actually are sitting with like 620 plus points for points scored this season. So they're at the top right there. Yeah. Actually, to those 2 actually are guys that I just did trades with today too.
I saw that.
I'll jump into that.
Yeah, I've been a little nervous. I was kind of hungry for trades before, and then Achon that they're going off kind of changed a lot, and now I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to move him. I don't
see
want
what you got.
Yeah, the wide receivers, and then Burrow is like, if someone came to me and wanted to buy Burrow low, I would listen to it, but I'm not looking.
Who's your backup?
for quarterback.
Yeah. Who you playing instead of Burrow?
Geno Smith.
Playing him.
Geno's. So I'm looking out a little bit on Pete Carroll gelling with a new quarterback. You know, he got rid of Russell Wilson, and now it's just funny how he's just like a typical woman. He's on to the next one. He's in love with Geno Smith, and like that relationship with with Russell Wilson never happened.
Hey, exactly. It's like the narrative that people were trying to force feed us with Belichick and Tom Brady. Who helped who out more? You know what I mean? Obviously, now we know. I think it was Tom Brady that carried Belichick, even though Belichick had the D. He had the defense for sure, but it was Tom Brady that won those Super Bowls. You know. But anyways, that narrative it actually fits in Seattle, where it's like, you know, it wasn't Russell, maybe it was Pete. You know, we said it last week how they got the most out of Russell. You know, now they trying to get the most out of Geno, who. I was thinking earlier, like, how many quarterbacks change teams and do well after starting?
Kurt Warner.
You know,
although he came
not doing so hot on their first team. You know what I mean? Yeah, Kurt Warner. Geno's now one of them, right?
But Geno did. I think Kurt Warner was like, you know, struggling to make teams, so it is a bit different.
Yeah. I'm thinking more bust type. Or
but
like yeah, drafted high.
Because like Geno Smith, I think he came out and had an okay season. It wasn't like bust by a comparable of like wasn't a franchise, decade.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the franchise quarterback and did not pan out.
And that's the thing when they talk about franchise quarterbacks. Sometimes they get a franchise quarterback for 3 or 4 years, but you know when they say franchise quarterback, it's like no someone who can like we can build the team around for the next 5 to 10 years. It's not so anyway. When you only survive 3 or 4 years, that's you are now considered like a bust. You're just a traveling guy. You're whatever they call him.
No, for sure.
The Case Keenum,
journeyman.
Yeah, journeyman.
Yeah.
But
Case Keenum, yeah.
Make that money, boo boo. That's a lot of money.
That money.
You hear that? A lot of supposedly, teams have been calling in about Case Keenum, inquiring his services for the Texans because they might have injuries. It might be like a Jets team or someone else. Because I think the Jets are signing Trevor Siemian.
They are. What the fuck, man?
So
they need to go get a vet, dog. They need to go get a vet and try this thing, man.
Well, they're just doing that to increase the QB depth room. But I don't know if it was the Jets, but I've heard other teams for the rumor mill. Several teams have inquired because they're just trying to do better with the depth, and it's interesting, So it's like surely Davis Mills might be getting talked about, or is it just they want that they want the experience of Case because Case did well when his time as a starter, but not enough to be like we want to build a team around because of its age and stuff. So, but the Texans have
plug and play, get some magic one year, man. Yeah.
But the Texans apparently
Texans got 2 backups that are settable.
The story apparently is also that Texans are like really happy just with the vibes in the QB room, like with Case being the veteran presence, and then even Davis Mills there learning, so they like where it is, and they think he's helped Stroud a lot. Not to completely give all the credit to Case Keenum, but anyway, thought it was interesting. Little Texan news update there.
Hey, holla, yeah.
Do we have any more storylines? The dust has settled from the point snafu in the league, so everyone's kind of rolling with their new record now.
Yeah. Man, that's it.
Yeah.
I just had my trades. If you want to touch on, I gave up Saquon Barkley. For Nico Collins. I'll tell you, this might be the most homer trade out there. But I'm gonna roll with it, man.
You gave up Saquon Barkley for Nico Collins.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I just think the Giants as a whole, it was more given up on the Giants organization. Saquon was lightning in a bottle.
I gotta see this trade.
Last year.
Was it straight up like that?
Yeah, man. No. I also threw in Jackson and Jigba. Because I told Tank I want you to accept it now, so I was like, I'll throw in another player, and like he was like, all right, Jackson. I was like, all right.
So this was the trade.
We'll see how this pans out. Obviously I'm an 0-4 team. Nico Collins, man, I believe he's gonna finish as a top 7 receiver, dog. I'm talking.
And now I'm happy with Tank Dell.
And now I have to drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm happy with Tank Dell, but I'm regretting more not having Nico Collins as my keeper. And I let Tank talk me out of it. I totally did because I told him like I'm going Nico Collins, and he was like, I don't know about that. He didn't really do much last season, and I was just completely like, why not? We got the 2nd round pick, and there's a high expectation with him. It's a lot. It's a lot of high upside, and I think it's a great thing about a keeper. It's like that's the whole point of a keeper. Where it's like,
Yeah.
And then I kind of I regressed in who did I end up picking? Tyler Boyd, and I'm like, it's kind of like I went for the safer bet.
Yeah. He's
the kind of like higher low of Nico Collins, but like the keeper, that's what you're supposed to really do with it. So I like
for the risk.
Yeah, like that's where you should. There's no point for me to even like go Tyler Boyd. So I regret that.
Wait, my other trade, I sent my second rounder, man. I sent T. Higgins to see the will. Or I forgot.
Well, so just think about that. Nico Collins, it was also a late draft pick, and then it could have been a keeper. So it's like you're over here trading your first round pick for what could have been my keeper or a keeper last year.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And I'm hopefully he can be the keeper next year. That's what I'm hoping he's worth at least. I got a guy for this year and the keeper for next year. If it pans out how I hope it does.
I mean, that's a ballsy play.
Bold as fuck. Hey man, Saquon. I wasn't winning with Saquon, so fuck it. I had to trade him.
Who's your other running backs?
Kenneth Walker, and that's it. I got Roschon Johnson, who's a sleeper, but I'll find one. We'll buy one. You know what I'm saying? But then my second trade, T. Higgins, gave him up for it was to Will, but I can't think of the name right now.
Chris Olave.
Yeah, Olave. Okay, Olave. That's who it is. Wide receiver for the Saints. And I mean, earlier I had just mentioned, man, that's a buy low kind of guy, and I don't know if I necessarily bought low because I gave up my second rounder, but hey, man, maybe you got to be next. Trade Joe Burrow, man, because I don't know, man. Since he don't look like,
I mean, right, so man. And it's just like, what am I? I'm just gonna have to settle for taking him for less than a 2 kind of value or production. So it's just like I'm gonna have to trade him to somebody who thinks they're gonna bounce back, or who believes they're gonna bounce back, or who feels like even a 50% Joe Burrow is better than what I have right now, or what I can find on the.
And how do you find that person, man? Because I have another formula here. Where's my art of a trade? And this one's same type of math. It's like, actually, instead of a third, this is a third and 2/3. I think it's 2/3, obviously, what you have to offer in the trade, right? What you're giving up, or what the caliber player, and that's usually graded by what their draft round status, points scored, right? Easy, tangible shit. The other 33% is like I just wrote down a love or pre-existing relationship. You know what I mean? This is where, like you're saying, you got to find a partner who either loves Burrow or probably had him last year. You know what I mean? I think that's how I did it with Tank. Like, he had Saquon last year, and Saquon balled out. Now, mind you, he got a better deal. He's just trading Nico for an RB1. Like, it wasn't much convincing he needed. But from my eyes, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he'll definitely want it. As long as I believe in what I believe, about
so
Saquon.
This could be the move that propels you back into relevancy, or it could be the one that just like completely puts you down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we already down, so it's like, fuck, we would have flipped some shit.
So Nico,
the last chance to roll the dice. Nico was failed at rolling the dice in the draft. Failed at rolling the dice, not having a third round pick. Nico was like,
you're like in Vegas, just like fuck it, just like keep on rolling.
Hey,
try to win your way back.
That's it, man. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do that, right? Because in that regard, even if what's Saquon been doing performance wise? We can look him up, but you probably know
he did all right. He did great one week. Yeah, he did. He had a great double digit game one week. He missed one week due to the high ankle sprain. Much like Nico was up down as well, but like I said, watching that Giants game, that was an overreaction from the Giants game, if anything. You want to call the trade bad, all that, for sure, but I will classify that, overreaction from the Monday night game that I did not even watch. I just read it, saw the highlights, it's like, damn, them Giants are fucking terrible. Like, I thought the Bears were terrible, but at least Fields had a ball, Sunday. Daniel Jones, I don't know, man. How'd they do it last year, man?
Well, he's got a lot of criticism for the high contract and a lot of the money he was paid, and for subpar play.
These boys get paid and then they don't play, man. What's up?
I think I saw
Laramie too, man. Laramie got the extension. Tunsil ain't played yet.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Yeah, do I?
Wait, so Saquon, is he hurt? He didn't play.
Yeah, but he should be back very soon.
So he's only played 2 weeks. He's only played two games, 9 and then 27. So because he hasn't played in 2 games, what makes you feel like he's just not going to get it done?
Up.
Yeah.
Giants strength of schedule, and then I guess what I mentioned, they're just trending the wrong way. I don't see any playmakers to help him. If it's all going to fall on him, he's going to break down sooner than what is already expected. Not many tangible things you can really, I guess count on. But
yeah, so even if you came back week 5, it's Miami. I mean, yeah, it's Miami, it's Buffalo, it's Washington, it's the Jets, who still a good team. Vegas, Dallas. So yeah,
I want to say they have one of the hardest schedules this year. Number 1 or 2 in some respects. Shit.
So you're getting a healthy player for a RB1 that is not healthy on a struggling team. But to your point, I was just gonna
trade for upside. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, to your point, it's like if you're 0-4, you really need to jumpstart the team. You need to kind of really have big chunk plays. Texans offense, I want to say they're hot, but they're warming up. Nico Collins is the rapport he's building with the QB there.
I think CJ's driving it all, man.
The point is the 12-point 15 game isn't going to get you back and win. You kind of need players who are going to hit those 20s.
Going to explode.
Yeah. So it's a ballsy risk, but it's a good one. I like it. I like the move. It's exciting. It's something to talk about. I'm just kind of I was nervous about making a trade, and now I've had some things go right, and I'm not sure. I'm so this isn't planned. I'm just kind of going with the lady luck here, and I'm going to keep riding the hot hands until I really need to make a move. The Burrow thing, yeah, it's just disappointing to be wasted a second pick there, just basically on my bench.
Can't win them all, though. Can't win them all, bro. For the loss you had in Burrow, the gain you had in Achon, shit, I'll take that loss any day, dog.
That's true. Yeah, because quarterbacks are easy to replace to that regard. It's the drop off isn't that much, and Geno Smith is getting it done. So, all right, man. Well, did we have any fun? What's happening? I don't think I had a topic for us.
Man, I looked up something real quick. People were tripping about Carson Daly having a mansplain Sunday Night Football. Internet, man, just be mad about everything nowadays. Everything's taken cynically.
I didn't catch this.
Carson, they had segments in between commercials on Sunday Night Football where Carson Daly was basically man explaining football to all the Swifties that might be watching the game because of Kelsey. It's talking about the phenomena that is Taylor Swift, man, just entering the league and talking about how this was the most watched Sunday night game since I don't know when, but an extra 2 million female viewers and all types of just wild shit, man.
Yeah, it's very wild.
You ever watched Pamela Anderson's sex tape?
No, I've seen just the.
You seen any sex tapes? Yeah, what? Yeah,
I've seen the clips they show on TV where just Tommy and Pam on a boat. I know that's the setting.
Oh yeah.
But I have not. I have not seen the whole feature film.
Man, I've seen that one. Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian looked like she was eating chocolate pudding or something that had it was something. It wasn't cotton candy. It was some. Oh man, it was. But anyways, man. Fucking Pam Anderson apparently no makeup during Fashion Week at France. Put on some makeup. That's all I had to say. I saw the pictures. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, you're old, so you can do that.
Yeah, they're getting older,
Yeah. We're gonna respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. One I had. I don't know, bro. I'm not real into politics, but I love talking about it and shit. I don't go hard one way or another, but I saw the Deputy Chief Information Officer of the White House. He is the commander for control and communications. Anyways,
pulled the fire alarm.
Duh, bro. Been engaging in dogfighting since 2009 or something like
way
that.
Different.
Yeah, man. We talk about the Deputy Chief Information Officer of the White House, man. This guy's been I don't know his name, but yeah, dogfighting. He had a code name Jihad. Geehad. Jihad was his code name through encrypted text messages and shit. The whole nine, man. Same with the Michael Vick deal, killing dogs, messages over, how to train the dogs, how to whatever. Yeah, it's crazy though. Just when I was reading that, kind of reliving it with the Michael Vick part, and I remember he had a badass 30 for 30 on that shit. It was wild, man.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bro. Deputy Chief Information Officer. Just say dogfighting, and this shit should pop up, man. It'd be nice to get a picture of this guy. Yeah, apparently, because that Carson Daly thing, I guess, they knew a lot of people will be tuning in just to watch and wait for hey, Taylor Swift to get on TV. So why not? Let's explain them the game of football so they learn. Everyone's all upset, like, why do they assume that Taylor Swift fans don't know football? A lot of them probably didn't, though, bitch.
Oh.
On this cat.
His name's Frederick Douglass Moorfield. Frederick Douglass?
Yeah. That boy. Named after historical figure, too.
Wow.
We've been dogs way before Leonardo came and got us. Yeah, man. That's crazy, man. Dog fighting is some shit, huh? Like, horror countries, they got like cockfighting, which is insane.
Yeah.
Roosters and stuff. That's tight. I'll watch that.
That's it down. Yeah, you don't do dogs.
Well, Woodrow's in Houston. They got turtle racing and shit. But I mean, it's...
Someone has a turtle ring. That's funny. Yeah, I've heard of those. But,
yeah.
Damn, man. Well, all right, dude. I think we're kind of light on what's happening, but good league updates, good little fantasy. I like the ticker, an evolution of the show.
It's
Go ahead and close it out. What are we going to close out the show with today? Song?
Man, you got some Jay Free? Let's play that. He got a new single out.
Does he have a new single out? Which one is it?
Yes.
Well, okay, so I'm going to try to turn this one around.
I'll tag the bookmarks, man. You got to put the bookmarks on the other one.
Yeah, I will. And there's some good clips that are still relevant week to week, so I'm gonna try to share more clips out. But I think the Tuesdays are going well. I like how this cadence is.
Yeah.
It's better on the schedule, and then maybe we get back to streaming, so it's just available, and then we can spend the week cutting it up. But it's been fun, man.
I like it.
We're already doing better than last year. This is progress, baby.
Hey, that timer, man, is gonna be key.
Yeah, PMP on Jesus. All right. I'll see you
later,
later,
man. Boy, I love you, man.
Yeah, peace. Woo.
Be here, bitch.
Go get the peanut butter.
Did I set up?